All right, Tauruses, welcome into your November reading. This is for Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Tauruses. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Also, don't forget to take a look at your other Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign readings as well. There is something that will resonate for you in one of those videos for sure. If you're interested in a personal reading with me, you can book one on my website, which is linked below in the description. So, yes, and I also want to say we have the holidays coming up. So, also don't forget to take a look at my Etsy shop. And I do hand make metaphysical stone jewelry. And the whole metaphysical piece is because they are energetically, I work with them energetically. With Reiki and also the full moon. So they are activated, cleansed, and fully charged for your support, tools, healing, whatever you need. So find the stone that resonates with you, depending on what's going on in your life right now. So November, we are wrapping up 2025. It's kind of crazy here. I do just want to call out, this is going to be, I feel like we've said it every month this year, but really from an astrological standpoint, November is probably one of the biggest months. There is around 30 aspects going on in November astrologically. What does that mean for those of you that don't quite know astrology that much? So aspecting, when planets aspect, it's basically they are connecting, relating, communicating, and kind of responding to each other depending on what sort of aspect they come into play. That can be negative, it can be positive. I don't like to say any aspect is negative. It's just more of potentially an aspect. It's kind of like relationships, right? Maybe you come across people that you just get along with, right? Your personalities match. You're like, oh my God, I just, you become great friends. Other aspecting, maybe you come across somebody and you're like, oh God, we just butt heads. We don't work well together. It's the same thing with the planets. And so there's a lot of that going on in November, way more than usual. 30 aspects in a month is not usual. That is a lot. We also have two planets going retrograde, Mercury and Uranus. So that's going to also have an impact on us. Mercury goes retrograde 3 times a year. It does feel like a lot. Like I always feel like, didn't we just have a Mercury retrograde? But that aspect again, or the retrograde there, is just around communication. Mercury's communication, mind, intellect, just like thinking, so information. So it's definitely a time to kind of, it's not a time to have serious conversations or sign contracts or like get into the details. It's a time where we have to pause and maybe reflect or review kind of what we've been doing, maybe review how we need to change our communication. Because definitely that retrograde energy can cause a lot of misunderstanding. So it's not as easy to communicate because there's almost like an energetic filter going on that kind of distorts what we're trying to say or the messages coming across. And then Uranus, I want to say we all know Uranus if you watch my channel. Uranus is the planet of change, of spontaneity, of like surprises, innovation. You can't almost you have a grasp on Uranus all the time, like it's always doing something different. I mean, it's like you can never foretell exactly what Uranus is, how it's going to impact stuff. So that's another piece where there could be some unexpected messages, unexpected information. It could be unexpected, miracles, unexpected good stuff. But, again, you never know with Uranus. So And I did just want to talk about Taurus specifically in regards to November and how this is going to impact Tauruses. So, you know, this is a big pinpoint for Tauruses in regards to your spiritual path. There is a whole new path opening up for you guys this month. There's really about you guys diving into the depths of your purpose, and wanting to realign with your purpose and things that are really more, you know, fuel your heart and your passions. And it's kind of, again, going back to your authentic self, right? Like, who am I? How do I want to reflect who I really am in my life, in my work, in my relationships? So, you know, you may be considering new things, trying new things out, like going on some sort of spiritual retreat or diving into new sorts of books or information. So volunteering, or again, you know, putting your skill set out there in regards to more spiritual matters or things that are you're passionate about. And a lot of this can be around really wanting to make big changes in your life. That's kind of across the board right now. I feel like energetically, astrologically, spiritually speaking, we're going through one of the biggest transformations, the biggest, especially those who have already kind of awakened to the spiritual path. You're going to go from, like, maybe you've already, you know, I'm using my hands, but like you've already awakened like here, and all of a sudden, like in a very short period of time, we're going to be like going from here to here in regards to our understanding, our wisdom, our gifts are going to start exploding. Our connection, maybe telepathically, or, you know, channeling, speaking with spirits or higher dimensional beings, all that stuff is going to get crazy. So I did want to kind of bring that information in because I think it's important for you guys. So really, we also are going back to our emotional body. Like, we are being really pushed back into the emotional space. And for you earth signs, that can be a little uncomfortable. It's not where you feel at ease. It's not like your natural place, being earth signs, right? You're about the physical reality, groundedness, and emotions are definitely not a place where you're totally grounded. And that's with the collective as well. Like, we're integrating, we're healing emotions. Our emotions are expanding. We're going to start feeling more intensely. And that's a positive, because the more intense we feel, that's where our true connection to source, to our higher self comes in intuitively. And we can use that to our advantage. So Tauruses, be open to what's happening. Again, surrender, and maybe even set that intention. Hey, I surrender to this emotional ride right now. I surrender to whatever emotions I need to really feel or face. And I'm open from the heart space, and help me to, I guess I kind of look at it like surfing, right? The water is your emotions, and it's like you're learning how to surf. You know, facing your fears and doing it anyways, and learning how to be able to ride the emotions in a way where we're relating and we're becoming one with them. So it's not hard, it's not resistance, it's more flowing. And that's when our emotional states can come in. And if we consider them more negative, we're able to like move out of it more easily and faster. Okay, let's get into the reading. So I'm going to do a little bit different of a reading today, just to mix it up. So we're going to start with oracle cards. So we have victory and forgiveness. So this is going to be around your current energies. So victory and forgiveness. So there's some sort of overcoming something from the past that could have been very difficult, challenging, obviously tied to a person. Maybe there was, you know, someone hurt you, betrayed you. There's still a lot of ties that bind you to this situation, but I feel like November is a good time that you're going to finally be able to face whatever emotions or feelings you still are holding around this. And if you haven't fully forgiven the situation, or feel like you've been able to integrate this and it's not affecting you anymore, this is going to be a great time for that. And as we know, forgiving somebody doesn't mean that you're accepting their actions or what they did and saying it's okay. Forgiveness is allowing yourself to cut the ties. And the ties that bind us are usually, again, anger, sadness, grief, rage, jealousy, whatever it is. And we're able to free ourselves. It's a freeing of ourselves to not have to be impacted by that situation anymore. So let's get some tarot for your current energies here. So we have the Queen of Pentacles. I mean, that's really you, Taurus. It's really grounding, stable, doing things for yourself to feel more stable in your life. Maybe there's a refocus on what do I need to do to create more stability in my life as well. The Hierophant, very traditional energies here. Ace of Cups. There's the emotion. It's like invigoration of emotion and overflowing of emotion, a new beginning emotionally. We're allowing ourselves to this is like an overflowing of emotions, but what that's doing is getting everything out to clear it, to kind of open up a new clear cup or open up a new emotional energetic space within us, so we have more capacity to feel, to receive. That's big, to receive, because if you have too much dense emotional energy held, suppressed, there's no space to receive. And if you feel like that's a pattern in your life or an issue that's frustrating for you, like you feel like you don't receive the type of love or action or things from other people in your life that you would like, that's usually mirroring, okay, where am I? Don't have the energetic space that I'm open inside to receive more. Okay, so I feel like this emotions that we have suppressed are tied to old past trauma. It could be tied to childhood where we grew up in a society or family that, for example, what's coming to me is like the Hierophant represents like religion, or we've literally followed what everyone told us we need to do, we need to believe, how we need to live our lives. That's the Hierophant energy. And that has caused us a lot of emotional turmoil or conflict or pain, because what we're doing is we're not living our authentic life. We're living a life that people told us we need to, and it doesn't fit in with who we truly are. And that's where we're coming back to our authentic self and realigning the inner authentic truth with our physical reality. And it's when our physical reality doesn't align with our inner truth is when we create conflict. We can create all sorts of things, whether it's health issues, mental disorders, depression, anxiety, things like that, or just all discontentment, unhappiness, irritability, things like that. So that's where you are currently. So let's see what's coming in. So we have all tied up in flow. So here's where we feel kind of our hands are tied, right? Or we are tied to, let's say, a certain type of job, or we're tied to a family, or we're tied to beliefs. And what that's done is kept us bound. So we feel restricted in this scenario or this life. But what's coming in is the ability to surrender and flow, and that's where we can free ourselves, right? And we're flowing with the natural, and again, we have the river, which is water, which represents emotions again. So going back to emotions again, It's the emotions that are keeping us tied up, feeling tied and restricted, right? But when we can free our emotions, allow ourselves to feel and express, all of a sudden we feel more free. So what else is coming in? Ten of Swords. We have the Five of Swords and the Nine of Cups. So you could be literally going through some sort of ending of a situation in your life. Some sort of big ending that has been challenging, to say the least. Definitely dealing with some sort of person or people that, you know, the Five of Swords is about manipulation as a whole, but, you know, this shows up in people as different behavior patterns, people that are very controlling. It's like everything is resistance, like those people that like everything just always feels like they're very, like everything seems like an attack, or they're very defensive, or think everything is like, oh my God, I always have to like win the conversation, or just overall, like, it's like they always have to control how things go or what the outcome is. Or just you have to like, there's always resistance to try and get kind of conversation with them, communicate feelings. Like there's definitely a void of feelings there, and they don't feel comfortable in the feeling space. But this can be really tied to their ego, inflated ego. For a small subset, some of you could actually be dealing with people who have sort of addictions, addictive behavior patterns. But ultimately, this is blocking you from getting, you know, again, getting your desires and needs met. So there's an ending of these types of patterns, but also this could refer to something specifically ending a relationship or a job or something like that. All right, so what's next is kind of messages from your future self. So here we have adjacent possibilities and diligence. So your future self, kind of the guidance right now for you, Tauruses, is I say it's a time where you really need to just focus on the right here, right now. If you are going through some sort of major emotional upheaval right now, an ending that's kind of difficult, I would say, like, when we think too much of the future, that can be very scary. If we feel like the future is unknown to us, especially after a major change in our life, that can be kind of cause some emotional discomfort or pain. But I feel like the diligence is just, you know, diligently do what you got to do today, right? Just focus on the day, do what you got to do in the moment. But then I feel like it's referring to this adjacent possibilities is that, you know, these are possibilities or opportunities that aren't visible right now to us. These are things where something could change, like an outcome could change, or an opportunity presents itself that, again, was not in our purview. It kind of maybe even is a surprise. And this is definitely the energy of November with that Uranus energy. It's like things are going to shift like in the blink of an eye, that just out of nowhere. Very surprising changes, surprising outcomes, surprising even miracles, or just like a life path, just a door opening that completely changed the direction of where we thought we'd even go. So I love that for you guys. And then let's see here. For tarot, we have the Four of Wands, the Devil, and Justice. So this is specifically calling out, this is tied to your personal life. So again, this can be a relationship, family. This could be a family situation going on as well, but there's definitely a karmic piece to this. This is a very karmic either pattern, ancestral pattern, a karmic kind of relationship pattern for you. But you are cutting the ties that bind you to these types of people or these types of experiences, which I think is really going to free you, right? This is kind of why you've been all tied up. You've been all tied up in the chains of the devil, which really refers to You've been tied and bound by the programs of our past, of our childhood, the traumas of our past, but also just the patterns that it's like, why do I keep attracting the same sort of person? How do I break free of this and change the type of person I'm attracting? Or I always deal with the same sort of like work problems. I always feel like someone at work is out to get me. And I just, there's this kind of self-sabotaging. I mean, that could be specifically for you. Maybe Taurus, there's some self-sabotaging behaviors that you're needing to change. Or you could be dealing with people that just like to sabotage themselves, but at the same time, like sabotaging people around them. But this Justice, I like this. This is the victory card, or just in general, the victory over just karmic pieces of our life, getting justice from the situations that we've dealt with that maybe we felt like we were done wrong. But I do feel like your future self is wanting you to know this, that we are coming to a pivotal point, shift, where old karmic patterns are, we've kind of signed the contract on them, right? We've done it, we've experienced them, we did that, we're done. We can sign the contract with certain people and we don't have to deal with this anymore. All right. And then the last but not least, the last row is about the good things coming in for you. So we have hostilities and thriving here. So this is basically saying you've been in a place where you've just kind of been surviving in your life. You could feel like you've been in survival mode for your whole life, actually, and maybe you had bits of periods of your time where you didn't feel like you were like there was as much hostility going on in your life, but now you're moving into a place of, now you're able and have the energetic support to thrive. That's people, jobs, opportunities that are going to help you thrive rather than just survive. So again, amazing, amazing stuff. So the last row here, oops, got cards flying. This one wanted to come out with, so we have the Seven of Pentacles and the King of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the Two of Pentacles. So I also feel like you've been doing some sort of work. You've been putting effort into maybe even doing inner work. You've investing time into something, investing your energy, your love. And there's kind of seeds that you've sown, and I just feel like maybe you weren't fully conscious of it, but you've sown some seeds, and I do feel like it's time where the seeds are going to produce something for you that's going to be of benefit, right? We invest in something because we feel like it's going to give back to us in more abundance than what we're putting in. And I feel like as the King of Swords, for one, I feel like you're cutting out anything as well that you feel like is a dud. Like, you know, the Seven of Pentacles can be referencing like the contemplation of like, hey, what's not working, right? What have I been investing in that's not really done anything for me? And I'm going to cut that out. I'm not going to spend my time on that anymore. I'm not going to put, you know, money into that or just anything, emotions. So you're cutting out things that don't work, which I love. And also, like, you're getting a lot of clarity about what things now, like your perspective is opening up and changing. And the same with the Knight of Swords, like there's no fear anymore. Like you are feeling the power within you. And it's like maybe before it was really hard for you to stand up for yourself or hard for you to kind of ask for what you needed because of the attachment, right, to our families, attachment to relationships. But now it's like we've opened up in a new way where we now realize like, you know, I'm cutting out these attachments. These attachments have held me hostage. They've held me down. They've kept me in situations that have really not made me happy, that have not expanded my life. And the Knight of Swords is coming in hot, like, nope, I'm done. I'm moving this way. So I do feel like there's a new sense of clarity coming in for you, especially with the The Two of Pentacles, it's like you've been in like a place of uncertainty, like unsure, indecisive, but now you're like, oh no, I know what I want. I know what I'm going to do. And so there's a lot of movement happening here for you coming up. And like with the Swords energy here, I love that for you guys. There's this mental clarity. There's information coming in as well that is really helping you make some really good, clear decisions for yourself in your life. So that's all great stuff coming in here. Before we go, I'm just going to clarify a couple things here. So I'm going to start with the Queen of Pentacles. So we have, let's see, 5 of Cups with the Queen. So yeah, you know, with the Ten of Swords right next to this, definitely I'm feeling more like something is definitely ending. You know, endings, no matter how bad they were or the situation was, they can still be difficult, and there can be grief and loss to this, especially if it's like relationships. So I do feel like there's this period of definitely some grief and loss about what is happening here. And it's allowing yourself to really feel those things, allow yourself to actually grieve, and use the grief to really connect you to your higher, to your heart, to your higher self. And it's through that connection and flow, right, going back, that's going to help to free us of not suppressing the grief. And then it continues to be an issue for us. As far as the, let's see the Ten of Swords and 5 of Swords. So we have the Hanged Man and the Strength card. Yeah, we talked about that. So you are gaining some confidence in the face of this situation here, or in the face of a person or people. And it's not about fighting, right? Because the Strength card has this Divine Feminine on here with the tiger, and she's working and with the tiger or the lion, and now the lion's docile, right? And it's like, it's softer and it's nurturing, and it's not the like, you know, terrifying, aggressive lion anymore. So that's where you're shifting your approach in life. And instead of creating that hard exterior, and instead of like putting up the energetic armor because you don't want to get hurt again, or you don't trust people, you don't trust life, you're kind of opening yourself up, and also setting new boundaries for yourself and getting yourself untied here, because the Hanged Man is hanging upside down and he's tied here. So that can reference like different things, like what relationships have you tied yourself to that you feel like you've been stuck in, that you just don't know how to get unstuck, or anything in your life. But you're now seeing things in a new perspective, which is cutting the ties and really seeing things for their reality now. And maybe there's something around where like you've been in this, you know, dealing with this person for a long time, and it's all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, it's like this aha moment of, this person is so manipulative, and I've been manipulated for, you know, 10 years or something. So that is good. So for, what else did I want to... So for the Devil, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Love that. So this is just kind of like a divine timing thing. You know, it's like we come down here in this life, and it's like we have different pivotal, you know, paths that we take, or timelines. And it's almost like the timeline where we had to deal with this person or these types of patterns. We had to do that for a certain period of time, and it was just like no matter what we did, we couldn't figure out how to change or get out of it. But it finally is the time. So November is a time where there's going to be a lot of change happening for you. But by the end of the month, you're really getting back into a place of, I feel like you're going to be able to like you're going through some, maybe, you know, the outcome or the emotional outcome of some of the things that happened in the past, but now we're moving into a place where we're going to start feeling a lot better by the end of the month. The Knight of Swords, let's see, and Two Pentacles, Seven of Wands. So immediately I saw the owl here. So in the good stuff, I feel like you're just, it's like the experience you've been through has made you wiser now. And you're really now able to kind of integrate this wisdom. And it's really going to serve you moving forward. And you're going to have the wisdom and be wiser at what you do in the future. What, like maybe what sort of relationships you allow in. Again, we talked about for Tauruses in November is really assessing and going back to like, what is it? It's in my heart. What is it that I'm passionate about? And really, I'm not allowing anything or anyone to deter you moving forward. And then lastly here, we have the Ace of Cups. Chariot, loving it. Love it. So yeah, like this is about emotional freedom. It's also about emotional harmonization. So we're really emotionally coming more into balance. And maybe emotionally we were clogged up with emotions that we were suppressing, or emotions that were from other people, from our past. And now we're kind of clearing that out. We're like clearing the pipes or the cup. And now we have a free, open cup. And now this is the time where energetically we're going to start manifesting things where we're able to receive things that are aligned with the energy within us, which is going to be people that have the capability to love and have the capability to kind of have space for our needs and desires and be able to meet you there. So really loving this, Taurus. Great reading. A lot of big readings for November, a lot around emotions. We are totally shifting here. So definitely, before you leave, hit that like and subscribe. Let me know what's going on for you and how this aligns with your life in the comments. But some big stuff changing up in November. Also, if you haven't heard about the AI Atlas object, it's an actual object. They're not saying it's a comet. And of course, everyone in the spiritual field is if you go on and Google and YouTube, if you haven't yet, you'll find some great videos. Don't listen to the scientists. You can listen to both sides, but I would go listen to the channelers and stuff, because this is like not only like once in a lifetime, but this is once in like thousands of years that this is happening. This object is bringing forth and opening up some major new light codes for us, energies, expanding us in new ways to where we're going to be elevating up, ascending up a lot in the next, even through like February. They're saying some big stuff is going to happen in February. But this object is going to be the closest to Earth. I think it's the first week of November. So definitely I channel myself, and I've been told the next 2 weeks are going to be pretty big. So either we're going to feel it, see actual physical changes going on personally and externally. So hold tight, excited for what's upcoming here. I was also, I wanted to kind of shift my usual content and actually make a video about that and what I've channeled. So I'm probably going to do that. So look forward to that. And yeah, thanks for joining in, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye for now.